Hey guys, Trevor Boone from Emerald City Guitars. My pick of the day is this 1967 Smuggler's Cavity Fender Telecaster. Along with that, I've got this pretty much mint condition, like new, reissue Super Reverb. So let's talk about the guitar first. So big Telecaster fans over here. We're pretty known for specializing in 50s Fenders, but I have a lot of love for the later ones as well. I've owned them from every era, and this era is something that I'd love to talk about for a little bit. So this specific year, 67, is unique because they had an option called the Smuggler's Cavity, which what the Smuggler Cavity is basically this stock additional route in here that some people think was to relieve some of the weight. Others think it was to put things in there that you can't get through the airport. I don't know, I think there's a number of reasons, but you don't see a lot of them. They didn't do that on every guitar in 67, and I just think it's kind of a cool spin and part of the whole weird Fender factory mystique during this era. And it's not that big of a deal, it's just a strange inconsistency in this model, so I think it's kind of fun. This is a really cool piece. Again, 67, it's got the maple board. This is completely original except for a refret and a new nut, which I'm so thankful that this happened. I got to experience it before the refret, and it was a really cool guitar that had an awesome sound, but you really couldn't get on other frets or play it. And it sold a long time ago to a collector who decided to have Eric Daw do it, who did a masterful job, and it turned out great. And it just brought this thing to life. So he held on it for a while and changed things around. We got it back, and I was excited to. It's a really cool piece. The Smuggler's Cavity is known. All the crazy Fender gurus, they know about it. Fender Custom Shop reissued it. We had one of those at one point, which was fun to see in the flash, because this is the only Smuggler's Cavity I've ever had in the shop, and I've read about them. They differentiate in the price guide and in books as far as rarity and kind of what they are. So in this era, I find these guitars a little bit brighter in general, and sometimes they're just a little bit too ice picky. This one I found very, very balanced. I recognize that right when it came in. Again, I was kind of torn on the way it played, but the buyer made the right decision to bring that to life. Now it's a great balance of playability and the tone that you want to expect from a 67. These are a lot different than the 50s ones, a lot different from anything after that. They're kind of a cool piece of the Fender story, and I think they find a way in a lot of collections and museums and whatnot. So anyways, cool to have one. Only one I've ever seen. Want to talk about that. Next is this straight up Super Reverb 410, 45 watts. A great amp they've been making for a long time, and the reissues are killer. They're like the dream backline amp. If you need something, you don't want to bust up your Fender gear and worried about it, you know, taking too many pedals or getting pushed around, tubes breaking, whatever it may be, Fender makes a great reissue of this amp. Like I said, I'm always pleased to plug into one. If I don't have my vintage Fender with me, these do just fine. This particular one is so new and perfect. It's got plastic with it, it's got the cover, it's still got the little, this has all the deets, little specifications, but it's perfect. This sat in someone's studio situation and just never left, so it's basically a fresh amp for a little bit cheaper. All right, let's see how this 1967 Smuggler's Cavity Telecaster sounds through this reissue Super Reverb. Thank you guys so much. Again, this is a 1967 Smuggler's Cavity Fender Telecaster and a reissue Fender Super Reverb. See you next time.